Hello, everyone, and welcome back to All Levels English Lab. This is Bethany, and I am absolutely thrilled to have you here with me today. I hope you're having a wonderful day, wherever you are in the world. Whether you're listening to this during your morning coffee, on your commute to work, or maybe you're relaxing at home after a long day, I'm so grateful that you've chosen to spend some time with me today. You know, before we dive into today's topic, I have to say that the response to our last episode has been incredible. I've been reading through all your comments and messages, and it just warms my heart to see how dedicated you all are to improving your English. Some of you shared your own struggles, your victories, and your goals, and honestly, it motivates me so much to keep creating content for this amazing community we've built together. Speaking of community, if you're new here, welcome to the family. All Levels English Lab is exactly what it sounds like. We're here for learners at every stage of their English journey. Whether you're just starting out with basic vocabulary or you're already quite advanced, but looking to polish those final details, this is your space to grow and learn. Now, I have a question for you, and I bet many of you will relate to this. Have you ever been in a situation where someone is speaking English to you, and you understand every single word they're saying, but when it comes time for you to respond, your mind just goes blank? Or maybe you know exactly what you want to say in your native language, but you just can't seem to get those English words to come out of your mouth naturally. If you're nodding your head right now, you are definitely not alone. This is probably one of the most common challenges that English learners face, and it's something I hear about constantly from students all around the world. You might have an excellent vocabulary, you might understand complex grammar structures, you can read English books or watch English movies without subtitles, but when it comes to actually speaking, it feels like there's this invisible wall blocking you. And you know what? This frustration is completely valid and completely normal. There's actually a really good reason why this happens, and more importantly, there are very specific and practical things you can do about it. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So let's jump right into it. Today's episode is called Understand But Can't Speak, 10 Practical Tips. And I promise you, by the end of our time together, you're going to have a clear action plan to bridge that gap between understanding and speaking. The first thing I want you to understand is why this happens in the first place. When you're listening to English, you're using what we call passive skills. Your brain is recognizing patterns, connecting words to meanings, and processing information. But when you speak, you're using active skills. You need to retrieve words from your memory, organize them into sentences, and coordinate all of this while managing pronunciation, intonation, and timing. It's like the difference between recognizing a song when you hear it and actually being able to sing it from memory. So tip number 1 is to practice active recall. Instead of just reading English or listening to English passively, start actively predicting what comes next. When you're watching a show, pause and try to guess what the character will say. When you're reading an article, stop after each paragraph and try to summarize it out loud in your own words. This trains your brain to move from passive recognition to active production. Tip number 2 is to start with shadowing exercises. Shadowing means playing an audio clip and trying to repeat what you hear at the same time as you hear it. Don't worry about understanding every word at first. Just focus on matching the rhythm, the intonation, and the sounds. This helps train your mouth muscles and your brain to coordinate speaking with thinking. Start with slower content and gradually work up to normal speaking speed. Tip number 3 might surprise you, but it's to talk to yourself. I know it sounds a little crazy, but seriously, this works. Set aside 10 to 15 minutes each day to have conversations with yourself in English. Describe what you did today, talk about your plans for tomorrow, or give your opinion about something you watched or read. The key is to do this regularly, so your brain gets used to formulating thoughts in English without the pressure of another person listening. Tip number 4 is to record yourself speaking and then listen back. This is incredibly powerful because it helps you become aware of your own speaking patterns. You might notice that you use certain filler words too much, or that you speak too quickly or too slowly. You might realize that your pronunciation is actually better than you thought, or you might identify specific sounds that need work. Self-awareness is the first step to improvement. Tip number 5 is to focus on chunking instead of individual words. Native speakers don't think word by word when they speak. They think in phrases and chunks of language. Instead of memorizing individual vocabulary words, start memorizing common phrases and expressions. For example, instead of just learning the word disappointed, learn the whole phrase, I'm really disappointed that, or it's disappointing when. This makes it much easier to recall and use language naturally. Tip number 6 is to practice with low-stakes conversations first. The pressure of formal conversations or important situations can make speaking anxiety even worse. Start with low-pressure situations like ordering coffee, asking for directions, or making small talk with a cashier. These interactions are short, predictable, and don't have major consequences if you make mistakes. As you build confidence in these situations, you can gradually work up to more complex conversations. Tip number 7 is to prepare stock phrases for common situations. Every language has certain phrases that come up again and again in conversation. In English, we use phrases like, that's a good point, I see what you mean, actually, let me think about that, or could you repeat that? Having these ready-to-use phrases gives you time to think and makes you sound more natural. It's like having a toolkit of conversational building blocks. Tip number 8 is to slow down deliberately. One of the biggest mistakes intermediate and advanced learners make is trying to speak too quickly. They think that speaking fast makes them sound more fluent, but actually, speaking clearly and at a moderate pace sounds much more natural and confident. Give yourself permission to pause, to think, and to take your time. Native speakers do this too. Tip number 9 is to embrace mistakes as part of the learning process. Fear of making mistakes is one of the biggest things that stops people from speaking. But here's the truth. Everyone makes mistakes when they speak, even native speakers. The key is to make mistakes actively, rather than avoiding them by staying silent. Each mistake is valuable data that helps your brain learn and improve. The more you speak, the fewer mistakes you'll make over time. And tip number 10, which might be the most important one, is to find regular speaking practice opportunities. This could be conversation exchange partners online, joining English conversation groups in your community, taking conversation classes, or even just talking to yourself more regularly. The key is consistency. Speaking is a skill, and like any skill, it gets better with regular practice. Now, I want to be realistic with you. These tips work, but they require patience and consistency. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and suddenly be a fluent speaker. But if you implement even just a few of these strategies regularly, you will start to notice improvements. Maybe it starts with being able to respond a little more quickly in conversations, or maybe you'll notice that certain phrases come to you more naturally. The most important thing to remember is that the gap between understanding and speaking is completely normal and completely fixable. You're not broken, you're not bad at English, and you're definitely not alone in this struggle. You're just at a specific stage in your learning journey, and now you have the tools to move to the next level. I want to encourage each and every one of you to pick one or two of these tips and start implementing them this week. Don't try to do everything at once. Choose what feels most manageable for you right now and commit to doing it consistently. Remember, small actions done regularly create big results over time. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you that learning a language is not just about reaching a destination. It's about enjoying the journey, celebrating small wins, and being proud of how far you've already come. Every single person listening to this podcast has already accomplished something amazing by learning English to the level where you can understand this entire episode. That's not a small thing, that's huge. Keep practicing, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. You have everything you need to become the confident English speaker you want to be. It's just a matter of time, practice, and patience. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep shining. This is Bethany from All Levels English Lab, and I'll talk to you soon.